Yossi, my man, we're live. How the heck are you?
I'm doing well, Stan. How are you? How has your week been?
My week is spectacular as always. We're getting a late start today. I'm excited. How you
We're
feeling?
we're getting a late start because we have a special guest on our show today. We will tell you more about in a little bit. I'm feeling great, man. The week has been interesting. The crypto markets have been all over the show, but the NFT market does not seem to be slowing down. So I'm pretty excited about all the things that have happened in the past week.
Not at all. Let's dive right into it. I'm going to start us off. My fucking pickle. I've been waiting to say it all day. Tell me about my fucking pickle.
I mean, what a name for a project. Started off, I think, as a joke, and then got its own attention. And in less than 6 hours or in less than a day, someone built a site, launched my fucking pickles. It's 10,000 pickles, all priced at a ridiculously low price. Trying to be this kind of democratized NFT that anyone could buy, and sold out in less than 6 hours. The team that put it together made $280,000 in the sale, and the floor price went from 0.01 ETH to as high as 0.2 ETH. That's 20x on your money if you manage to buy one, flip it on a fucking pickle. We don't know what they're going to look like yet. They're going to be minted soon. So we'll see if the pickles just stay as they are or if they change at all. And the lesson here is it doesn't really matter if the NFT is a meme, a proper story, has amazing art behind it. It's really about the engagement you can build with your community, and proper execution will win in all of these NFT drops. So that is my fucking pickle. I managed to get 2. I think you managed to get quite a few.
I think we got 13.
You got 13 of them, so there we go. You're a fucking picklinaire.
I hope. I wish. And great point to story, right? We're hearing the same thing come up again. Community, story. As long as the story works, and for this one, not the most creative artwork or anything like that, but the name really caught on. And as we know in the crypto community, Dogecoin, right? All you need is Elon Musk to say, I love my fucking pickle, and we're all billionaires. I'm ready. Let's go. What else we got going on this week?
Well, from my side, I followed your lead, and I aped into Bored Ape Yacht Club. Got myself some apes. I thought they'd be lonely, so I didn't only get one. I got 3, and spent a little bit of time trying to figure out which ones to get, try to bring in a little bit of data into my decision so that it wasn't only based on the aesthetics. Spent some time doing a little bit of analysis, trying to figure out which one to get, and used a tool called rarity.tools. So if you're looking to potentially get an ape or one of these other NFTs, rarity.tools is a one way to get some data. It's very early. It's not 100% accurate. You can't just use it as the way to decide on the NFTs that you're going to acquire. But if you look at this table on the screen, what we did is we looked at the rarity of each ape, what the price was, try to compare some kind of price to rarity ratio, looked at the number of likes that the ape has and the number of views, and what's the kind of view to like ratio to try and give an idea of aesthetically how appealing is this. And then using that data, decided on, well, these are the 3 that we think are the best buy from the data that we had. So that's how we made the decision on those apes. We'll see if that plays out in any shape or form. One of them has a rare fur called Fuzz. The other one's got a rare eyes. The other one is rare hat. And I'm hoping that our apes will do well in the years to come. But why it was interesting and why apes exploded over the week was that they launched Bored Ape Kennel Club, where any ape holder got a dog, a pet. We don't know what the pet looks like.
Dog, a pet? What does that even mean? You got a dog?
What does it mean is that any of the 10,000 ape holders got a free drop of a new NFT, which is a little doggy for our apes. Every ape needs a pet. Every man needs his best friend. And anyone who had the ape could claim it. And what we saw was a massive drive of people trying to buy apes that haven't claimed their doggy yet. It drove the floor price up of the apes from about, I think it was about 2 or 2.4 ETH to 4.5 ETH, and then came down a little bit. But what we're seeing now is that these doggies fetching anywhere up to 1.5 ETH, 1.7 at the top. So basically, the Bored Ape Yacht Club community gave away $4,000 to every Bored Ape Yacht Club member and Bored Ape holder. If you're an ape holder, you just got $4,000 richer just because you had an ape, and that's what we think it looks like to build strong community, to constantly be adding to your community, to be adding, innovating, and that was exciting to see from the Bored Ape Yacht Club community. I mean, what do you think, Stan?
I mean, that's exactly why I love NFTs, right? You wake up in the morning and you just made $4,000. When was the last time that happened with stocks, right? When was the last time that happened with other investments? And yeah, I mean, we got the dog, and full disclosure, we sold the dog just because we don't know. The odds are you might get a rare dog, you might get a regular dog. We believe that there's hype right now, and that is continuing to drive up the price. We kind of took the short money. Insurance and blackjack, I guess, as you like to call it. And if you look at it from that perspective, right, if you bought, let's say, your ape for 3 ETH and you were able to get a dog and sell it for 1.5 ETH, you just got 50% of your money back, right? And whenever the next drop of something else happens, you might be breaking even, and now you're playing with house money. And that, to me, is one of the most interesting things about NFTs and the utility aspect of it. I'm really excited about the community. I'm very jealous that you have 3. I want more. And don't be surprised if I make a few Bored Ape announcements on
the other thing, though, with NFTs, which I think is interesting, is you can drop something straight into someone's wallet. So you know who the holders are, and you can automatically communicate with them by just saying, this is up for grabs. You go, you put in your wallet, it automatically sees you have this NFT, and now you're able to claim this. That's very powerful. You have this one-to-one communication channel with your community, which no other technology that I know of is so powerful that enables you to do that. So expect to see many more future drops in the Bored Apes community, in the CryptoPunks community, and all of these, maybe in the My Fucking Pickle community. You'll see all these additional drops coming, and that's how we're creating value into these communities. So it's exciting to see.
And what other investments can you talk about apes and fucking pickles? I mean, it's definitely a lot of fun, right? Forget about anything else.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Speaking of other crazy things that happen, or maybe not so crazy, or in fact, I don't think it's crazy at all. We saw a big announcement of a round for $14 million going into Rarible. Rarible is one of the NFT marketplaces where you can mint and acquire NFTs on. And what was interesting about this is CoinFund and Venrock, 2 very well-known VC brands leading this round, and their tie-up with Rarible and the Flow blockchain. If you've heard of Flow, that's NBA Top Shots. And what Rarible will be doing is acting as both a primary and secondary market on top of the Flow blockchain. So now you should be able to start seeing those NBA Top Shot moments being sold and resold on the Rarible platform, as well as the new IP that Flow blockchain is bringing on. And they've got a massive backlog of new IP that's coming on board that you'll start being able to trade on Rarible as well. So we're seeing collaboration of a different chain with a new marketplace, and that should open up the marketplace as well, and more money coming into the NFT space. So it's not just about fucking pickles, it's also about new technology that is being built here that is creating this type of economy, and it's great to see this type of activity happening. There was many other things happening in the NFT space, but let's go into what is happening in the card world, Stan.
So the card world, as you know, there's been massive dips in the card market. Numbers have been going down tremendously, and there's a lot of panic. And probably the biggest panic we've seen was a Michael Jordan rookie card, PSA 10, sold for $180,000, which, to a lot of people, it's like, well, $180,000.
Sounds like a lot of money.
Sounds like a lot of money. Why is this significant? Back in January, this card was worth $738,000. So everyone,
just hold up, $738,000 in January, $180,000 today. They say Bitcoin is volatile. That sounds hell of a volatile. What happened there?
So here's the interesting part. According to PWCC, which is one of the biggest marketplaces, they actually said that there was an issue with eBay, and a lot of people, they have evidence showing that people are trying to bid more than that, and eBay was not letting them bid. So from what I understand, they canceled that transaction, and the bid didn't end up happening. So the card actually didn't end up selling for $180,000, or at least it's not final if the card did sell or didn't sell. But there was a lot of controversy in the community. People sending in screenshots. Here I am betting $250,000 on this card. I'll buy 10 of these cards at $180,000, and they weren't allowed to make that transaction on eBay, which is also interesting because there are other big marketplaces out there that sell separate from eBay, and now they could kind of flex a little bit and say, hey, on our platform, this card would have sold for a lot more, and we wouldn't have all these issues. So it is interesting. I do still believe in the market long term. We are seeing that the really, really rare stuff is still holding value, and the stuff that's a little bit more basic and that has a lot more duplications of, a lot more cards of, that is continuing to drop. So I think from a GOATs only strategy, right? If you invest in the greatest of all time, if you find those rare, unique pieces of art, you are going to win long term. And to me, looking at it as a card collector and as an investor, I still see it as a buying opportunity, right? Because I'm not looking to flip in 3, 6, 9, 12 months. I'm looking of what is the long-term value of this particular sports card and what does that look like in the future. So I'm excited. I'm buying, just like I'm buying, Bitcoin and Ethereum right now.
Buy the basketball card dip. You heard it here from Stan the Goat. So we were talking last week about how do we get our community involved in these drops that we are getting involved in, whether it be pickles, whether it be craniums, which we'll talk about next week, or apes or punks or all the new stuff that's going on. We spent some time racking our brains, and Stan, what did we come up with? I think it's pretty exciting.
Drum roll. We need a drum roll machine. There you go. We are creating something called the Goat Vault.
That's right. Vault.
You heard it here first. Here's our beautiful design. What does that actually mean? Who the heck knows? No, I'm joking. We know what it means. We're going to be giving away free NFTs to our subscribers. That's what it means.
Free NFTs to our subscribers. We are going to be participating in these drops like we are every single week, covering them, talking about them, why they may be interesting, why we are potential buyers of them, and putting aside about $10,000 to buy into these drops, put them in the vault. Hopefully they do well. Some of them will go up. Mostly all of them hopefully go up. Some of them might go down. And that vault may be worth 50 grand, 100 grand, 200 grand, maybe even $1 million at some point.
$1 million. $1 million.
And as we get more subscribers, we are going to unlock the vault, giving our community and our viewers and listeners and fans the ability to earn some of those NFTs or win some of those NFTs. And hopefully you come along the ride with us, you learn with us, you invest with us, and you get rewarded with some really special NFTs that we're going to be investing in over the weeks and months to come.
So that's right. And that's $10,000 that we're making an investment out of our own pockets. We're investing the money. We believe in this long term. We want you guys to come along for the ride. So if you're watching the show live, if you're going to be watching it, down the line, please like, share, subscribe. And hopefully you get to win some of these NFTs and we could all make some money together. And next week, we'll dive deeper into how we're going to structure this vault, when we're going to give away our first NFT. And each week, as we buy NFTs for the vault, we'll announce it on the show every week. And we're going to show everybody, are they up this week? Are they down this week? Did we sell them? What's happening in our GOAT vault? And Yossi and I talked about it. We're going to create some theme music for the GOAT vault. We have to do something.
And the only way to win in the Goat Vault is once we get to 5,000 subscribers will be the first time we unlock the vault, and the contents of it will be awarded, or parts of the content to it will be awarded to our subscribers. So hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. That gives you entries into the Goat Vault draw, and we'll be sharing more detail over the weeks to come.
All right, enough about us.
Who should we talk about then?
I don't know. I heard we have a guest.
We do. We have a very special guest, a entrepreneur, a co-founder of Yield Guild Games, who is doing something extremely interesting, creating an entire new economy out of playing games, what they call play to earn. And we have one of the godfathers, if we can call him that, of the play to earn economy, Gabby Dizon. Good to have you on the show, man.
Yossi Stan, so happy to be here.
Well, thank you. And thank you for giving us your early morning. I know you're based in the Philippines, so it's great to have you on. Excited to have you on today with all the announcements that have come out of Yield Guild Games. But before we get into that, maybe for the people who don't know you, you can give us a little bit of background on who you are and how you got into this world of play to earn and everything around that.
Sure. So my background is as a game developer. I've actually been making games since 2003. And in 2014, I started a mobile game studio creating games for iOS and Android phones. And it was 3 years later, in 2017, that we heard about Ethereum and the concept of a smart contract. And that got us really intrigued and started down the rabbit hole of blockchain to see how it could possibly change the game industry. And it was while this was happening that CryptoKitties came out in November 2017. If you guys remember that time, it was super exciting. It basically shut down the Ethereum blockchain. And we're like, oh my God, like you could actually put in game items on the blockchain and users could own them. So we thought that was a really, really fantastic development where players could finally own their items permanently. And yeah, I've been really in love with the NFT scene ever since. So I've been creating blockchain games, doing a lot of collectibles as well, collecting crypto art. And yeah, just late last year started Yield Guild.
Tell us about Yield Guild. What is that?
Sure. So Yield Guild started because last year I was playing a game called Axie Infinity. So for those that don't know, this is a blockchain game where you have cute little pets that are NFTs, and then you battle them in an arena kind of similar to Pokemon. And then when you win a game, then you get a token called SLP, or Small Love Potion. And this token is used inside the game as you pay it as a cost to breed new Axies. Now, people figured out that you could sync this SLP, which is basically a game resource, to the blockchain as an ERC20 token. And if you didn't want to breed new Axies, then you could sell it for Ether via Uniswap, for example. And then from there to fiat. And people here in the Philippines realized that you could actually make more money grinding the game and sell the minimum wage jobs here in the Philippines. So that led to a lot of the early user growth. And
Looks like we lost Gabby.
Yeah, it looks like we're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Let's ask him if he could turn off his video and bring him back on the show. But while that's happening, maybe what I can do is recap what I heard him say and understand is basically...
Wait, you can make money playing video games? That's all I heard.
You can make money playing video games, but what's interesting of it is the game itself started as a way that you play the game. If you win these battles, you win SLP, which is called Sand Love Potions. And that SLP was initially intended to be used to buy new characters in the game. But because of the world of crypto and decentralized finance, and Gabby mentioned a couple of different things like Uniswap, which is a decentralized exchange. You don't need to know what that is. We can go into more detail later. But basically, people found that they could take that SLP tokens that they had earned, and instead of buying an Axie, they could sell that into the market, and it created a price for those tokens. So you effectively were playing a game, earning in-game currency, and now you could sell that in-game currency for cryptocurrency outside of the game. And that's how people started to make money within the Axie Infinity world and realize that this is a way to earn an income. And I think Gabby was starting to tell us about the type of income that people were earning and what the kind of average salary is in the Philippines, and why that was meaningful. Let's see if we have him back on now, or at least have him on audio. Gabby, are you with us?
No, it looks like we still don't have him on. But I was actually watching a video earlier today where people in the Philippines were talking about how they're making a lot more money playing video games than working their full-time jobs, and how the economy was so hit hard by COVID and a lot of people lost their jobs. And these people were actually, this was their saving grace, and they started making money by playing these games. I think that's absolutely incredible. If you look at it from the perspective of, we're looking at NFTs and collectibles as an investment perspective, but now you're looking at it from a completely different point of view, where people are making a living doing this because they have to, right? Because they have no other means. Gabby's back.
Sorry about that.
Welcome back, buddy.
No worries. We were just commenting on what you spoke about, but let's hand it back over to you. You're mentioning people started to realize that they could make money out of the game, and you were telling us about the kind of earnings in the Philippines, and we lost you there. No,
and we lost you again. Oh, Gabby. Gabby's probably making money playing video games. That's why he's having
that's what's happening. One thing in Axie that you can do, which I've started to see now, is you can have what's called a scholarship. Basically, you take your unused Axies, because you can't use all of them. Maybe someone has 20, 50, 100, and they can't all be used at the same time. And you can offer, it's called a scholarship, where you lend your Axie to someone else to use it, and they play the game, and you agree on a split on the income that you generate out of that. So there's hundreds, if not thousands, of people requesting scholarship access. And I've started to see CVs of individuals where they talk about their game experience and how successful they've been in Axie and other strategy games. And that's what they're putting on their CV now, as opposed to, I have done an internship at IBM. I did an internship at Yield Guild Games, and I was this type of person and able to achieve this type of income. And it's an entire new profession that's being built. So let's have Gabby tell us more about that now that he's back.
Yeah, thanks. No, that was a really good summary. So you're talking about the scholarship programs, and it's an amazing way to onboard people into games and into crypto and start earning money by having people who have excess money basically breed their Axies and then lend them out to these people who have a lot of time and skill but no money. So, for example, in Yield Guild, what happens is that we have a scholarship program with around 2,000 scholars now. We have managers that take care of recruitment, training, and helping these people get onboarded into the game. And these scholars, they usually can't afford to buy an Axie. A team now has gotten a bit expensive, like around $800 to $1,000 for a competitive team. So we lend them the Axies. They start playing. They start earning SLP, and then there's a revenue share wherein the scholar gets around 70% of the SLP they earn. The community manager gets 20%, and us, the guild, get 10%. And we're doing this in different communities around the world, in Philippines, Indonesia, India, Venezuela, Brazil. And what's common in a lot of these countries is that I think if you look at the minimum wage there, it's a very low. So if you're earning somewhere between $300 to $500 a month playing a game for maybe 4 hours a day, then it's actually quite a good amount of money.
That's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Like, my mind is absolutely blown. I was telling Yossi while you were gone, we look at NFTs as collectibles, as art, as something that, holds a value, right? But you're literally changing people's lives by giving them an opportunity to feed their family. And that is just absolutely incredible. I love it.
Thank you. No, the stories that come out have been incredibly inspiring. Where there was someone who has been able to build their own house, provide for their family. There's been like an elderly couple who have been helping out their kids. And it's usually the other way around, right? Kids help their parents financially. The stories have been incredible. And the great thing about this is that once people have a little bit of money, they actually start their own little scholarship program and help maybe the next 5 people that are in need. So you're seeing this kind of network effect of people helping each other. And it's the most amazing thing I've seen in my life.
But now, you're already it sounds like quite a lot, like 2,000 scholarships is a lot of people. How does this scale, and how do you think about this? Can Axie support 20,000 people? Can it support 50,000 people? How far can this go? And how do you think about the next 2 to 3 years and how this all plays out and progresses in these worlds?
Yeah, so for Axie, it is scalable because the model is like you're playing in a multiplayer arena against other people who are kind of similarly matched in terms of skill against each other. So yeah, I think it's very scalable. Like for us, we don't want to stop at 2,000. If we want to get 1 million plus people into Axie, we would do that. But at the same time, we've also started investing in other play-to-earn games that are coming out. Games like Ember Sword or Guild of Guardians. We have Land in the Sandbox. We have an active community in Splinterlands and League of Kingdoms. So we're not tying ourselves to any one game, although Axie has the greatest earning potential right now. We want to make sure that we're covering kind of the whole play-to-earn metaverse and have a guild presence in each one of them.
You didn't mention Zed Run, but I know there might be a Yield Guild Games partnership with Zed. Is that true? Because we have a lot of Zed followers on the show.
Oh, do you? Yeah. We just bought a bunch of horses, and fortunately, we have a community member who has also been a longtime player of Zed. His name is Aloha Tem, and he's been running his own stable. And I met him through the Axie community because he's also quite active there. And yeah, he'll be managing our stable. Zed is different in that you don't really need a lot of people to run a stable. But it's something we're super excited about, and we want to be able to democratize access to these horses, which have been like quite expensive these days. So one of the things that we're doing is that we'll be creating a token that represents fractional ownership of a wallet in each specific game. We have one of these now for League of Kingdoms. We minted the YGG LOK token that represents our 86 parcel estate in League of Kingdoms. And players could buy in and buy tokens that represent basically a fractional share of the land. And it's something we want to do with Zed Run in the near future. Like if you can't afford the horses, maybe you can buy a token that represents the stable of YGG in there, then which gives you a slice of the income as well that it provides.
So that sounds incredible. I'm not sure I quite understand it. Stan, you wanted to ask a question, but I'd love to dive deeper into what does that actually mean.
I think my question is, from what I understand, you're saying you guys are basically creating your own stable, right? And you're going to have your own strategy of how you're going to raise these horses, breed them, keep them, whatever you're going to do.
Yep.
And then down the line, you're going to tokenize it so you could now sell into your whole stable, or just specific horses based on their value?
Not really specific horses, but we want people to basically like have a fractional share of the entire stable, especially the people who are actively playing the game. So our strategy with Yield Guild is that for each game we have we will be creating kind of its own sub token, so YGGZ or YGG Axie, and that is almost like a fractional share of the assets in each game. So if I care about Axie and I don't care about Zed Run, maybe I'm buying into the YGG Axie token, which represents a share of all of the assets we have in that game. But if I'm a super active player in Zed, then maybe I'll buy YGG Zed token, or maybe I'll earn it via contributing to the community, and that gives me a fractional share of the stable. So it means that, like, I guess it's a little bit similar to kind of like a B20, where you're buying a fractional slice of an NFT wallet, but we're applying this to like specific games.
And what about the income that's being generated by the communities? Does that get attributed to the token holders as well, or is it only on the assets that are being held within that wallet?
So the players will have the ability to vote on governance to figure out what to do with the yield that these NFTs earn, and I think that's the most exciting part. So the players will end up actually having governance control of the stable, and they will be able to vote on, are we going to actually buy more assets? Are we going to reinvest the money, or are we going to cash it out to the people who are token holders? So we're putting that in the hands of our community.
So you're actually taking gamers, turning them into entrepreneurs who are also, theoretically, if we want to use like commonalities in the traditional, who are also shareholders, who are deciding on what assets to buy, how to spend the kind of income that they're generating, and how to share that and distribute that with their shareholders amongst the token holders who hold the tokens. Is that correct? I mean,
absolutely.
I spent a lot of time playing games. I didn't have any of this type of optionality and any type of way of earning an income and learning the fundamentals of business, growth, asset investment, all within the realm of a game. I mean, this is mind blowing.
Insane. So let me ask you a question. I mean, I totally get it, what you're doing. I love what you're doing. What do you like? Where do you see the future of this? Right? Like, what do you're giving an opportunity for people to make a real living. What happens 10 years from now? Right? Are these people becoming, I don't want to call them multi-millionaires, but there's obviously going to be more opportunities to make money, right, in the metaverse, right? You're creating those opportunities now, but as the metaverse continues to grow out, as new NFTs, new games get launched, what's the future look like? You with us, Gabby? Oh, I was so ready for my answer. Back. He's back.
Day in the Philippines today.
It's all right. we won't hold it against you. We promise.
Thank you.
You didn't hear my question by any chance, did you?
No, I didn't hear. I heard what Yossi said, but I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, good. So my question is, what does the future look like, right? Obviously, people are making a living right now, playing video games. You're fractionalizing, you're creating tokens. What does this whole thing look like in 5-10 years?
I think this is actually, for me, what we're doing now is the base layer of what will eventually be Ready Player One. Everyone who is kind of in the metaverse space is really excited about like these interoperable worlds where you can bring your items with you. And I fully believe in that vision, but of course we're in the very early stages. And what we're doing is we're making the metaverse accessible to basically anyone around the world. And your minimum skill is you have to be able to game. Like, you're a good player, you can get in, you can learn how crypto works later. We'll get you playing one of these games. You don't even have to buy the assets. And you've heard a lot of people discussing that a lot of jobs in the physical world will be lost because of AI and automation. And what are these people going to do? People are painting a dystopia, but I believe that these people will actually find jobs in the metaverse. People will be racing horses, battling Axies, creating avatars, designing levels. So I think that's where we're headed.
The jobs of the future is pretty exciting. Gabby,
can I go to Metaverse University so I could get this knowledge and degrees? Or is this the Metaverse Universe? This show is the Metaverse Universe where you can learn everything.
So I'm getting a question from one of our viewers saying, super excited for YGG. Why did you choose to launch on Miso? Can you give more details about the sale? That's from Sergio.
Oh, Sergio, thanks. So we were looking around on what would be a good partner for launch, and we actually really like Sushi because they're like us. They're a very community-centric platform. Sushi IDO platform is a little bit new, but we share a lot of the same ideals with the Sushi team. And I'm kind of a big fan and user of SushiSwap myself. And when the opportunity came up for us to do our sale there, like we just said yes, and very excited to be on Miso.
Great. And he's asking, can you give more details about the sale? When is it going live? How do people who are interested in the YGG token get involved if they can?
Sure. So the sale is happening on July 27th. We'll be making an announcement soon on exact mechanics, which we're kind of ironing out as we speak. There are several ways to be involved with YGG. First, of course, go to our Discord, discord.gg/YGG, and start playing games with our community. And for our community members, you don't actually have to buy the token to earn it. There'll be several ways for you to earn it by playing these games that we're partnered with, games like Axie or Zed Run or League of Kingdoms. So a lot of our players basically cannot really afford to buy much of the tokens, and we want to have as much representation of our token ownership from the players as possible. So we have reserved 45% of our token supply to be given out over time, over a period of years, to people who are actually playing the games that we're partnered with.
So the people who go through the scholarship will be able to, one, earn an income, two, get access to these tokens for playing the games, and then eventually be voting on the distribution of that income and what assets to buy in the games. Literally empowering individuals from the bottom. Amazing. How does someone get involved in a YGG scholarship? What do they have to go through in order to be able to get selected as one of these 2,000 people that you have today?
Well, they have to go through one of I think we have 12 managers now that have their own kind of sub-communities. And honestly, the wait list is a bit long right now. There are probably hundreds of people. And we're trying to breed as many new Axies as money can allow so that we can onboard more people. Like if you've seen on Twitter, the demand is just insane, right? There's so many people that want to play, that have these skills. And it's only for the first time we're realizing that my gaming skills, the skills that my mom has yelled for me for a long time, it actually is worth money, right? And now these people can't wait to turn their gaming skills into money.
I love it.
I'm gonna go home and apologize to my son for yelling at him.
Now, Gabby, you guys recently raised $4 million in your last round. What was that capital for, and what are you planning to do with it?
Sure. So we raised a round led by Bitcraft, and Bitcraft is one of the most recognizable esports and gaming funds in the world. And what was really exciting is that Jens Hildgers, the founder of Bitcraft, is basically the father of esports, and he's very well known in the game industry. So that enables us to kind of knock on any game company in the world and say, hey, are you interested in play to earn? And at least these people will be kind of listening to what we have to say. Play to earn is still not in the kind of mainstream game industry. I think we still have a long ways to go, and the investment by Bitcraft allows us to kind of go towards the more mainstream game industry. And at the same time, for the money we raised, we basically continuing to invest very heavily in NFTs. A lot of it goes to breeding more Axies, to offer more scholarships, because that provides the income now. But at the same time, we're investing in new games that are coming up, and we're also going to build our own YGG esports team that will be competing in these games.
Incredible. When you say people go through a scholarship and can earn income, what kind of money are we talking about? What is the kind of thing you could earn in an Axie scholarship?
It's usually in the range of around 300 to 500 USD a month. And for context, the minimum wage here is actually $200. So yeah, for people who are playing and staying at home, they can get higher than minimum wage by playing in a scholarship program.
Do you think that as this continues to get developed, and like you're saying, and in the Philippines, $300 to $500 a month is a lot of money. And I'm sure, even now for a teenage kid to make an extra $300 to $500 in the States is a lot of money. But are these numbers going to get significantly bigger where, people are going to start quitting their jobs around the world to play video games?
So the way I see it, each video game is its own little economy, its own little country. And I in the future, we're not going to differentiate between basically a real world job and a job inside a game. There's just jobs, right? And I think the earning for each game really depends on how good the economy is in each game. Is there something that people are willing to spend on? Do I have skills that are worth money inside these games? So those are the questions to ask. And if you kind of zoom out far enough, there's really no difference between providing a valuable service inside the virtual world and providing it to your, accounting company or gas station, like a couple of 100 meters from your home.
I mean, think if anything, like you say, the economies in these games can be billions to tens of billions of dollars. And if you're a pro in them and you know exactly how to navigate them, win, build in them, and an expert in them, I mean, you can command a really high premium for your services, just like you can in the default economy. But these numbers are getting huge. I think if we look at Fortnite, the sale of skins is a $3 billion business. And that's just on selling skins. And here you don't even own those skins. That's just within the closed ecosystem. And there's no economy that goes back into you being able to actually make real money out of that. Now imagine that type of economy in something like an Axies and the income potential that now has been generated.
I got a question for you. You mentioned Pokemon. Pokemon has a huge community, huge following. I was personally not into Pokemon growing up, but I had a lot of friends that were, and I know, Charizards are being sold for almost $1 million. How do you compare that? Like, do you see this being like the next Pokemon? Is this something that's relative? Let's say if we have some viewers that are in that community, how would you compare the two? Gabby's a busy man. You're on mute, Gabby. We got you, buddy.
Sorry. My connection was kind of crapping out. So could you repeat that for me, please?
I was saying, how would you compare kind of, Pokemon to what's happening with video games and NFT space to pay to play? Like, give me more detail about that. Do you believe that eventually this is going to be much bigger than Pokemon? I know it has a huge following, a huge community. Or do you think it's just two completely different things?
Well, I think what's most likely to happen is that eventually Pokemon will be on the blockchain. I think any kind of trading-based collectible or any game with an economy, which means most games that aren't single player, they're going to be connected to the blockchain. They're going to have their own kind of trading economy. I think we're just headed there. It's just a matter of how long is it going to take.
How do you evaluate the games that you decide to become members of? I don't know if you call them members, but that you decide to now build these yields in?
So first, the NFTs have to have some form of yield that our players can earn. We actually don't flip NFTs. I don't think we've really ever sold an NFT at Yield Guild, even though we bought millions of dollars worth. So we buy these NFTs and then lend them out so our players make money. So the yield generation is very important for our players. And second, we also look for some kind of guild component. Like if there's a multiplayer component, a guild component, that's very exciting to us. And those are the two primary conditions. And we take a look at the economy if we think it's sustainable over time.
And where are you seeing is the most kind of yield generating games? And is there anything coming up that looks really interesting, exciting, that our listeners and viewers should be saying we should get in first there, and we should start, spending time in this world?
There's actually a bunch of interesting games that are coming up. So Illuvium is one of them. It's an auto battler that has this great artwork. Guild of Guardians is something that I'm also very interested in. It's Diablo-ish ARPG that has guild play that is kind of mobile first. Ember Sword is like a proper MMORPG where we kind of just bought a bunch of land in. I'm actually so excited that I'm gonna spend like the next decade of making money inside these games.
We have Kim asking, how about Lost Relics?
Lost Relics, I haven't really looked that much into it. I think some of our players do. And one of the reasons that it's important to have such a good player community is that, like us who are leading the team, we don't actually know what all the good games are. And usually we find out about a game by community members saying, hey, why don't you have a channel for so-and-so game? And we're like, what's that game? And then when enough people ask, we're like, all right, it must be decent, so we'll make a channel. And then people start engaging with it. And if engagement is really strong, then we're like, yeah, maybe we should buy something in there. So we're able to harness the kind of wisdom of our community to see what is interesting and to see what we can invest in.
One other question I had was, you talked about, I believe you invest into crypto art. Is it personally? What are, if you don't mind sharing with us, what are some things that interest you?
Yeah, personal.
What are some of those?
So I got into crypto art almost as an experiment. Like, because I came from games, I didn't get the point of crypto art at first. It's like, okay, you're slapping an image on an NFT with no utility. Like, what's the point in that? Like, that was my first reaction to it. And then I had sold a forest in Axie Infinity, and I bought a Josie Bellini artwork. This was like 2019. And a year later, I sold it for 10 times what I had originally paid, which was still too low actually for a Josie. But I was like, holy shit, there's actually value to this. And that's when I started looking deeper into like Maker's Place, Rarible, Super Rare, all of these other platforms, and started buying crypto art. And I realized it's a great way to kind of collect the art of these super talented artists around the world and develop a connection with these artists in like, it's not the same as, you're buying a painting from a gallery. You're actually buying it straight from the artist. And I've actually made really good friends with a lot of the artists that I've collected. And now I have an art gallery in Decentraland called Nara Gallery that I share with a business partner. And yeah, we display our collection there.
I love the line, I sold a forest in Axie Infinity and bought a Josie painting artwork and sold it for 10x. And for those of you who don't know, Josie recently sold her work at Christie's. I think her NFT sold for about $400,000. So it's I don't know what she sold it for, but I'm pretty sure you probably undersold it if you got it in 2019. But incredible.
I sold it for around $700 then.
$700. Yeah, well, you did good on that, and the person who bought it did great today. And
you beat me. I tell people I'm a digital horse owner, and you're like, hold my beer. I just sold my digital forest.
So people who want to see your gallery in Decentraland, could you give us the name again?
It's Nara Gallery. So if you go to the Twitter account, twitter.com/Nara Gallery, the Decentraland coordinates are pinned there in the location.
Great. We'll put that up in the show notes as well. So anyone who wants to see that can go and visit your gallery and your NFT art. We have another question from our audience. Eric, do you envision more scholarships for Axie or others in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Like if we could get to 1 million scholars, we would try to do it. And I think Axie's growth has kind of been noticed by these other developers, and who are now trying to see how they can offer a similar kind of lending model in their games. And I think it's a wonderful idea. Like a lot of us collectors, we may have hundreds of thousands of NFTs in our wallets that are sitting there. And if you can actually lend this out to people who can't afford them but use them to earn something, and I think it's just really a great use of blockchain to be able to match that the labor and the capital so that everyone earns from it.
What's the limiting factor for you to get to 1 million? Is it finding the people? Is it getting Axies? Is it the training? What's the kind of challenge to get to that kind of scale?
So it costs a significant amount of money to breed a lot of Axies, and that's what makes Axies valuable. If you remember, you can kind of just breed CryptoKitties as much as you wanted, and that means that each CryptoKitty, like on average, just wasn't worth that much. And the reason that SLP has value is that it costs SLP and it costs like $10 of AXS to actually breed an Axie and start earning an income. And then it takes 5 days to actually from when you breed to grow an Axie. So this is a good move by the developers to ensure that kind of the NFTs don't get hyperinflated. And it actually costs money to produce an Axie, because if it didn't cost anything to produce an Axie, then the SLP won't be worth much and people wouldn't be earning anything.
Mind blown. I'm completely mind blown. I don't have anything else. This is just. I mean, I think what you're doing is absolutely incredible. I can't believe I'm just stepping into this world, but like now being in this world and like looking at the rest of the world, it's like. People have no idea, right? Like I had no idea, but like people have no idea this is what you could be doing, right? And what the future looks like. I'm excited. I know you're just waking up.
Yeah.
At what? 9:23 p.m. Yeah. I mean, I want to go have a party in the metaverse right now.
So Stan, are you you'll be the first to be buying YGG tokens when they come out.
I'm in.
Gabby, thank you.
Would love
so
to
much
have you as part of the community.
I'm part of the community.
Gabby, thank you so much for your time. I know it is precious. If anyone wants to find out more, where do they go? What should they be reading, and how do they get in touch with you?
Sure. So Discord is the place to be, discord.gg/YGG. For our Twitter, twitter.com/YaleGuild. And it's yaleguild.io for our website.
Amazing. Well, thank you for teaching us about the world of the metaverse and how to earn while playing games. I think you've earned 2 new fans and many, many more. Good luck with the token launch. We'll be watching it closely, and I look forward to watching and seeing how you go from 2,000 to 1 million scholarships, and I have no doubt that you're going to do it.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, man. Wow. I don't even know. I don't even know how to wrap up this show.
I just think the hours that I spent playing games growing up, I would have been a millionaire like when I was 7. If this was out like this. This is incredible. This is crazy.
You still could be a millionaire playing video games. The future is bright, my friend. I mean, it is just absolutely incredible. You know, we live in a world where, you know, sometimes our lives are busy. We're all doing our own thing. And like, people have no idea, right? Like, this guy is literally changing people's lives. And by probably, you know, a kid or a family member who's good at playing video games is supporting an entire household, right? They're making more money than they would make on a normal basis. And to me, that is absolutely incredible. And I think what I keep hearing and what we keep hearing is community, right? We keep hearing utility. And this world is a very, very young world. And it's going to be very exciting to see what continues to come out of it. I'm glad we're on this journey. I'm glad that we're alive. I'm glad that we're doing a weekly show. Everybody, please subscribe. I'm excited for the Goat Vault. Oh, we're about to get crazy. I can't wait. What are we going to learn next week? I don't even know what to do about that.
We just got started. And before we wrap up, I mean, I just did some back of the napkin calculations. 2,000 scholars, $500 a month. That's $1 million a month that's being generated out of playing games. They just raised $4 million. They're about to do their token sale. I got a feeling like Yield Guild is just getting started. Yeah, 20,000. Those numbers become quite crazy and building these types of economies. And this is what the metaverse is all about. This is why we're saying the metaverse is going to be bigger than anything else than we've ever seen. And this is the assets in the metaverse. These NFTs are going to be worth more than anything else that you own in the physical world because of the type of stuff that you can do with them. So I'm excited to learn more. See you in the next week. We'll go back to what else gets launched, how our pickles are doing, how our apes are doing, and what else we're buying and putting into the vault. Subscribe today, and we look forward to seeing you next week on Goats and the Metaverse.
Woo!